The Department of Correctional Services has confirmed today that former crime intelligence boss Richard Mdluli has been placed on parole. Mdluli was serving a 5-year sentence for the kidnapping and assault of his former girlfriend Mdluli, her husband Opa Ramogibe, as well as their friend Alice Manana. In 1998, that's when the crime happened. Mdluli will complete the remainder of his sentence in the community service system. For more on this, we are joined by the spokesperson for the Correctional Services Department, Singabakho Nqumalo. Mr. Nqumalo, thank you very much for your time here on all angles. Of course, we understand that because the crime happened in 1998, it falls under the Phahla judgment regime. Just explain to the viewer in terms of, crimes having happened before 2004 and what this means, etc.
Okay. A very good afternoon, and thank you for having us. What happened is that Phahla, who took the department and the state to court and saying that inmates who were sentenced after the 1st of October 2004 were falling under a different regime as compared to the previous one, meaning that those people sentenced to a determined period, meaning a number of years, needed to serve at least half of that sentence before they are considered for parole placement. And those sentenced to life needed to serve 25 years, irrespective of sentence remissions and credits that they may have earned. He then took the department to court in saying that it was unfair that these people are now punished due to the delays that are caused by the state in terms of processing their matters. And the Constitutional Court ruled in his favor, which then said people who had committed offenses before the 1st of October 2004, irrespective of when they were actually sentenced, they must be dealt with in relation to the previous correctional services regime, which then said people must be considered for parole placement after serving 1/3 of that sentence. Those are people serving determined period. And those sentenced to life was to say they needed to serve 20 years, but in that 20 years, there'll be a special remission of sentences. There'll be credits that they would have earned, meaning that they needed to serve about 12 years and 4 months. Hence, then he needed to explain it in this case to say, Mr. Mdluli committed this offense in 1998. Hence, then he was dealt with in line with the Phahla judgment regime, stating that he needed to serve 1/3 before he's eligible for parole consideration.
And our understanding is that he would have actually served his minimum detention time already by the 28th of May this year, but he could not be considered for parole then. Why is that?
What happened is that Mr. Mdluli had a number of court cases beside the ones where he was convicted. So the other case, in actual fact, it's one. The other case, he was still attending to it. And in terms of our procedures in correctional services, is that an inmate cannot be considered for parole placement if they have had a charge. So in this instance, Mr. Mdluli then went back to court in saying that I will want to apply for bail on that particular matter because it's ongoing and it's not even clear when it will be finalized. Then the court agreed with him, then granted him bail. Hence, then the parole consideration processes could proceed from our side.
So he applied for bail, of course, with regards to this particular case having to do with kidnapping and assault, etc. in 1998, which is a dangerous crime on its own. So a lot of people would ask, if you know that this is a man who is facing many other cases, why would you release them? But I assume your answer would be that with this particular case, his time was already done.
His time was done, and there's only one matter that he went directly to court in saying that the court needed to deal with it, and then it agreed with him and granted him bail. So based on that, even the court perhaps is, remember the bail is to say, can we make it a point that this person is in a position to present himself whenever is required to be, for them to grant him that bail, it said, yes, they agree with that. Hence, then as a department, we said, there's nothing preventing us from considering him if he does qualify for parole placement.
All right, all right. So that changed your decision then from that 28th of May part of not agreeing to him applying for parole, because before that the department was quoted in the media as saying that he's not eligible because of pending cases against him.
Yes. Yeah, you are very correct, because we could not consider him because of that pending case. But when then the court granted him bail of 10,000 rands and he paid it in full, then that decision needed to change, saying that now we can consider him for parole placement, and the parole board went through that. They went through his profile and other material which was submitted, and took a decision that he's a candidate for placement out on parole.
Just very quickly, Mr. Nxumalo, I know that the Correctional Services Department as well as the Parole Board make sure that you speak to victims for a victim impact report, etc. And this is an old crime, of course, being that it happened in 1998. But I assume after speaking to the family of, his former girlfriend, the husband and the friend, the Parole Board was then, I assume, satisfied that that family is okay with him coming out again?
The victims work.
Unfortunately, Mr. Nxumalo, your audio is breaking quite a bit, so we cannot hear you, and it doesn't do myself or the viewers any favors. That is Singabakho Nxumalo, the spokesperson for the Department of Correctional Services. His connection is so bad that he's continuing speaking to me, although we're explaining that we cannot hear him.